I just got off a super long flight, but I committed to making a video a day, so here we are. My brain is totally fried, so this is going to be a Q&A. So I'm just going to read through some of my YouTube comments and answer them kind of publicly for everyone to see. So I'm going to pick like, I don't know, 8 or 10 or so and kind of just get to the answers, right? So first one from Cool Things. Can e-commerce websites rank with random big site backlinks through guest post and DA score is 90 plus and traffic is amazing, like 100 million? With random big sites, if you have do follow links from DA 90 sites and traffic is 100 million, first off, those links are going to cost you several $1,000s a piece, or you're going to have to earn them through like digital PR or reactive PR. So yes, it's possible that it's going to rank. You don't always need like niche specific links, but niche specific links are cheaper and far more practical from a cost and timeline perspective to acquire comparatively to a bunch of random big sites. Okay. So yeah, I mean, if you have like $1 million to throw at backlinks, sure, you could do this. Otherwise, no. Next question from Timothy Pavlov. Do you think that blog content would be useful now if they made a ton of internal links to products and collections? It's basically like backlinks from a niche relevant websites with existing traffic, right? Yes and no. So I've talked a lot about, internal linking from supporting blog content to products and collection pages, as well as between similar collections. Okay. So internal linking is definitely important and it definitely works. Is it the same as building a backlink? No. Let's say I don't really like the term DADR. I think it's just too much of an isolated metric on backlink building. But let's say hypothetically your site is a DA 30 and you build a bunch of internal links like on your site. One internal link on your site is not nearly as valuable to your site as a backlink from like a DR 80 site. Simply enough, right? Because your website is not as authoritative as a DR 80 site, right? So yeah, internal links are effective, but no, they are not a replacement for backlinks. If you want to rank number one on Google, you are going to need both of these things, okay? Can one create multiple collection pages for one bunch of products targeting different keywords? Yes. My video yesterday on Easter was about flowers and chocolates, right? I made the comment that flowers are just flowers and chocolates are just chocolates. Probably a bit of a simplistic view of both of those items. However, they're probably the same SKUs a lot of the time. Like whether you're selling chocolates for Valentine's Day versus Christmas, or flowers for Easter versus Mother's Day, probably a very similar kind of flower and very similar kind of chocolate, respectively. Those can just be repackaged into a new collection to target a different user, okay? It's not duplicate content as long as the page, like the collection description, the meta title, things of that nature, are unique to a different keyword, okay? Products being in multiple collections is very normal, and products being in multiple collections is by no means considered duplicate content, okay? I do this a lot. All right, let's see what else we got. This guy said apparently I said blogging and backlinking won't get you the number one spot. That is not true, to be honest, he says. Blogging is very good for a company as well as backlinking. First time I've ever heard that. Blogging and backlinking shouldn't be the only thing, but it's definitely a great strategy as well. Yes and no. I agree. I agree with him that blogging and backlinking shouldn't be the only thing. However, I disagree that currently blogging and backlinking will get you the number one spot. Okay. You absolutely need to be building backlinks to specific pages, not just writing, endless amounts of supporting blogs and hoping topical authority is going to get you to the number one spot. Okay. Topical authority can work. I'm just saying it takes a very long time. So you can accelerate your process by building more direct links to internal pages, as well as building out more supporting sub-collections. Okay. If you're like a B2B or SaaS company, sure, like blog content is going to be kind of your bread and butter because your goal is to get people or is to nurture people into a demo or a free trial. In e-commerce, that just simply doesn't exist. It's either you buy or you don't buy. And if I write a bunch of informational content about whatever kind of e-commerce products I'm selling, like no one's going to go from like looking up like what is an air purifier to buy an air purifier in the same session. Like it's just never not going to happen. Okay. So you need to be ranking for transactional keywords, and there are more efficient ways to rank for transactional keywords beyond just blogging about them and building backlinks. Okay. I talk about all of these strategies very extensively on this channel. So like just go watch those and implement those to rank number one for transactional related keywords, which actually drive money. Okay. I don't give a shit about blog traffic if it doesn't make me money. Okay. Simple as that. What else? You never talk about external links. Are those not necessary in blogs? External links can be helpful. I will say general rule of thumb for me as an agency provider, I have to be more cognizant about which kinds of websites we externally link to as a whole, because I have to make sure, my clients are comfortable with that. So kind of my broad approach to it is we will only link to medical journals or, medical studies, like peer-reviewed journals, things of that nature. If we're writing about a medical or health-related supplement that supports our case, right? Like I work with a foam rolling brand. Obviously, like we cite medical journals for that. We work with supplement companies. We'll cite medical journals for that, right? All when it makes sense, because like that actually aids our credibility when we're trying to write about these articles or write about these topics. Now, we'll also do it for like some important statistic, right? If there's a statistic that someone uncovered in some specific study one time and I want to use it, yeah, of course I'm going to cite it, right? However, broadly speaking, like if I'm writing articles about something pretty well understood, like apparel, for example, or like accessories, like, watches or anything like that, like all for the most part, fairly common sense kind of information, I don't really need to add external links to something else, right? And if I do want to add, like if for watches, for example, like let's say I wanted to link to like the most expensive watches in the world, right? I would in fact probably just delete, like not put in my external link to another article yet. I would just in fact wait to put the external link in, create a page about the most expensive watches on earth, and then I would build an internal link to my site instead, right? I'd much rather keep all of that equity on my site comparatively to giving it to another site. Okay. Now, a lot of people will say, the sites you're connected to are just as important as the sites that are, connected to you, or you're connected to them, vice versa. Maybe just kind of my view, right? And again, as an agency owner, like I have to be a bit more cautious about those things. On my own sites, I have played around with external linking. I still haven't really found a big kind of win beyond doing it to medical journals and medical studies, so I just kind of avoid it generally. What else? What do you recommend for local SEO backlinks? I don't do a lot of local SEO. From what I'm aware, I used to do local SEO some time ago. I've got a handful of friends that do it pretty actively. From what I've heard, kind of anecdotally from them, citations, a mix of like guest posts and link insertions. I know PBNs work pretty well on local. I will say, like, if you're trying to rank in a local market, you definitely don't need as many backlinks as you would in e-commerce when you're trying to rank on, an entire national level or even international level. So you definitely need fewer links in local, which is nice. Those work well. Like I said, local directories also work really well too. Those are like really crushing right now for local SEO. One question about offering SEO to e-commerce brands. Do you think it's a good idea to offer parts of your services for free to get SEO leads or clients? For example, a free audit or on-page optimizations. If you're starting to become a service provider for SEOs, be it a freelancer or an agency or whatever, there's definitely value in offering free or discounted services in exchange to get your foot in the door. Most of my early clients were heavily discounted from what I price now, and have even discounted from what I priced then. But the goal was to get my foot in the door, get them results, and get a case study out of them, like a testimonial kind of thing, that I could leverage into more clients in the future that would pay me more money. So yeah, if you're a service provider, there's a lot of value in offering discount stuff or even free stuff to get leverage to get eventually paid more. As far as like doing it in parts, yeah, I mean, I think I did like domain migrations. I did just blog content. I did just link building. Like all those things can be done in parts. Like you're trying to build as a new service provider. You're just trying to amass as many testimonials / case studies as you possibly can. So if someone won't give you the whole pie, fine, but you should take whatever slice you can acquire. And you better do a damn good job at it if you want more. Okay, so this was asking about a recent case study I put up about how I ranked number 1 on Google without writing any blogs, which I'm doing a lot of these days. Did you basically take existing product pages, rename them, and then change the content to match the new keywords? Are these new pages orphan pages that are not linked in the site's navigation? So I've never duplicated and renamed a product. Okay. Product pages are actually something I don't prefer to touch all that often beyond like the meta title, maybe a bit of the description. Okay. I think there's just way more value in the collection pages. So kind of going back to a question I answered earlier or a few minutes ago, I'm not renaming products. I'm just putting them in collections that are renamed differently. So the product is staying the same. The SKU is the exact same. So your backend fulfillment doesn't change at all. However, I'm selling to go back to the flower and chocolate example, I'm selling the same flower or bouquet, and I'm selling the same pack of chocolate or chocolate, chocolate box, for example. I'm selling those same ones all year round because I've just packaged them in a different collection page, right? It'd be the same thing as like putting a new wrapper on your chocolate and just calling it Easter versus, Mother's Day or whatever, right? However, I'm not doing that, right? I'm just repackaging it so that people searching for specific things can find them at specific times. And as a result, brands that rank well for those things can make a lot of money in a short amount of time. So not renaming or duplicating products, just duplicating, renaming collections to target keywords, okay? All right, see what else we got. How can we create more collection pages if we only have one product and 4 colors? 2 options. One is simpler than the other, but it does depend kind of what size site you are and what level of complexity you're kind of willing to take on. The first one is just I assume whoever asked this question was using like one SKU plus a variant. So like they technically only have like one indexable product URL. Basically what they would want to do is drop the variants and make every single color its own individual product and its own individual SKU. So like, let's say you have a t-shirt and it's like black, white, gray, and I don't know, blue or something, right? Instead of just, having like product / shirt and then having like all the variant parameter URLs, you would instead just have like product / black shirt, product / white shirt, products / gray shirt, and product / blue shirt. Now you'd have 4 unique products and those could all be in a collection, right? And you could repackage that however you want, men's shirts, women's shirts, I don't know, gifts, I don't know, medium, large, small, whatever. You go by size, you go by price range, whatever is up to you. That's one option. That's the simplest, no nonsense option. There are other ways, and it will depend on your theme, that you can code. Basically, I'm pretty sure you can use like JavaScript to display every single variant as a unique product grid or product item within a collection, right? So even if you kept the variant set up for your products, I believe there's a way to use JavaScript to essentially display all 4 variants on a collection page. It's definitely more complex. Like if you're great at coding, yeah, go nuts, right? I'm sure there's other tutorials online that'll show you how to do it. But those are pretty much your 2 options. Some say free business directories do not help with authority. Some do. What's your opinion on it? So first off, like authority, whether it's DR, DA, authority score on SEMrush, all the same thing, more or less. That number is manipulable, and it's not a complete metric to kind of form an entire opinion on the authoritativeness of a website. However, when it comes to directories, you can get a lot of links for a lower cost, and the links you're getting kind of make you look like a legitimate business. They're kind of like what people call like foundational links, like similar to that. Basically just give you a stronger foundation of links to build off of in the future that make you, one, look like a more authoritative website than you are. And by that, I just mean like you actually have more, like, let's say you're DR10. If you go build if you get like 300 business directory links, like you probably have more links than the average DR10 website. So like that, you appear more authoritative, even though maybe your DR doesn't reflect that. And you've now, because you have more links in, and assuming they're like all the directory links are probably branded, would be my assumption. You can now be more aggressive with backlinks to internal pages with more like keyword rich anchors. And again, like I'm not overly aggressive on those. I never really do exact match anchors, but like near match / natural with a keyword in it would be fine. So the directories kind of just give you a bit more leverage to be more aggressive in the future. Okay. All right. One last question here. Just added 100 plus subcategories because of your advice. We did not rank for the keywords we targeted on these subcategories. We have 3,000 products. Do you think that too many subcategories is a bad thing? I don't, but there are a few considerations. If you build 100 subcategories right away, you probably are going to have trouble indexing all 100 right away. So I'd probably use like an indexing tool and then drip feed them in over the next few months, really. I would estimate like 10 to 20% of them are probably going to index quickly, and the other 80% will need a drip feed. With that many products and that many subcategories, you're going to probably have a lot of cannibalization if you're not careful. I would say it's probably worth canonicalizing your product URLs to their parent collections to avoid any overlap with your products and your sub collections, depending on how specific they are. This is something we do quite a bit on larger product catalogs to avoid cannibalization, and also for the benefit that we build backlinks to collection pages more so than we can to product pages, and also for the fact that typically, more often than not, I don't have a specific number for you, but typically collection pages tend to outperform product pages in SERPs. So there's really, I guess, like 3 benefits to it: avoiding cannibalization, you get to build backlinks to it, and third, which is likely a byproduct of the first 2, collection pages just perform better. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll have more energy. I'll have a better video, but thanks for watching.